Welcome back to the Bipolar Bae podcast. I'm your host, Courtney. I feel like I've lost some weight since the last time that I recorded a video segment for the Bipolar Bae podcast. I was pretty heavy set during the last video, and I feel like I have lost so much weight. I feel so much better, and I have so much more clarity, if you will, after losing a lot of weight. And I am just so happy that I have another opportunity to be in the studio after a long process of trying to find stable housing, trying to get off of the streets as far as being homeless, trying to find a healthier route to get back into independent housing, and I finally have that opportunity. So I was able to take over somebody's lease at a student housing complex, and the girl that I am taking over a lease for is amazing. I could not do it without her help, and she is so nice and so well put together and so amazing. And I actually had a previous opportunity at that same complex to take over somebody's lease because they are fully sold out for the year of 2024 through 2025. And I was struggling because I had seen that complex since the first time I moved here in the Kansas City area. And I was like, that's where I want to live. I love the complex. I love the idea of having these socials for all of the residents at the complex, as far as like ice cream socials, pool parties, that kind of thing, social media gatherings where you can exchange socials and that kind of thing. And so, I found somebody on social media to take over their lease, but other people beat me to the punch. And, it wasn't meant to be at that time. And so I contacted somebody who had promoted that they wanted somebody to take over their lease for this year until next year. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of being in sobriety transitional housing. Yes, I'm in a good transitional program right now, but there's a lot of things that I did not know before going into the transitional program that might end my stay before I'm ready to leave. So, to be in the program, you have to have Medicaid. And I did a Medicaid application. I did all that as a disabled individual. And something happened with my application. They're saying that I need Medicaid to stay at that transitional program. And then they're also saying that if I don't have Medicaid at a certain period of time, that I can't stay there. And so I had to look at other options because I know for a fact that I'm not going to be able to qualify for Medicaid in a couple of months, and I'm not trying to commit fraud, and I'm not trying to go to jail for committing fraud, and so I'm trying to do the right things here. And so I know I've been homeless, sleeping in my vehicle for the last several months, trying to get back on my feet, I've been bouncing around from house to house to house to house, trying to find stable housing, and that qualifies me for Medicaid for a certain period of time. So I realized, I just got hired on with a great call center, with a great pay, making commission, and then I will have health benefits in a couple of months after my start date. And so I don't want to commit fraud by doing too much with the Medicaid stuff and then, turn around and say, oh, Courtney, we think you're committing fraud or anything like that. But I also know I've been homeless up until this point and that I do qualify as a disabled individual for Medicaid. And so it's just a sticky situation. I'm not trying to do too much with the government. I don't want to be on government assistance for the rest of my life, as some of my family members have put it into words that I should be on government assistance for the rest of my life because I'm disabled. I think that is a stipulation that they have, a limitation that they have decided to put me into a box. and tell me, oh, Courtney, you have bipolar, you have ADHD, you have ASD, you deserve to be on food stamps for the rest of your life, you deserve to be on government assistance in Section 8 for the rest of your life, and you can't do anything else beyond that. And I think to anybody whose family is acting just like mine, you are more than your disability, you are more than Section 8, you are more than Medicaid, you are more than food stamps. Yes, those are great assets to help you at time of need, but not all the time throughout the year in my personal life have I ever needed that stuff. There are moments where I have bad flare-ups, and there are moments where, like, I lost my son and during the pandemic and I could not function. There are moments where I've had miscarriages and I could not function. There are moments when I've relapsed in my addiction and I cannot function. There are moments when I have bad flare-ups with my mental health and my disabilities and I cannot function. But that is not right now. Okay, that is not right now. I am seeing a breakthrough in my own life to the point where I feel like I have what it takes to do what it needs to do to have a regular full-time job, plus good benefits, plus all the benefit packages of being an employee, all the fun stuff, the game room, the fun atmosphere, you know, the hybrid work from home opportunities. I have what it takes to maintain that. It's about the people that you surround yourself with at that time during the peak of your success that will fuck it up for you if you tolerate the BS. You're gonna go down with them, okay? You're gonna go down with them like a burning flame and a fucking forest fire, and you're not going to succeed because you're listening to everybody else who has not been on your level, who does not see your vision, tell you what you should or should not do in your life, okay? Like, I can't believe that I had these people in my ear telling me that a verified influencer account on social media is the definition of being Satan's spawn, and it's satanic, and it's social media is addicting. You should never be on social media. It's bad for you. And all these people who have this mindset of social media is satanic, social media this, social media that, you don't need to be on social media, showed their ass in the early 2000s on Facebook when it first came out, for college students, for college alumni, and MySpace. Do you know how many times I have saw my family do too much on MySpace growing up, and they embarrassed me on MySpace? So why do you think that I have to put limitations on my success with my business because you are now out of that showing your ass mindset, and you think that you have to tell me how to run my successful business? You know, and the funny thing about it is, each and every last one of my family members have been verified before. Not all of my family members, but some of them have been verified, and they kept telling people on lives that it was satanic, that they didn't want to be associated with the verified account, they didn't want to be associated with the money, they thought it was blood money, they did not want to have the successful page because they thought it was dirty money. And they're doing worse shit out here than a verified account. So I'm just confused as to how, you know, you claim that I have to be on government assistance for the rest of my life, and then in the moment of my down spiral, if you will, of me sleeping in a fucking parking garage in the middle of fucking June heat. Okay, was it June? I don't think it was June. But what I'm saying is, it was like May or April. It was so hot outside. The eclipse happened. I was sleeping in a parking garage in my vehicle. And I was still being an entrepreneur. I was still thinking about my business. I was still going to the library and making podcast episodes. I was still getting on rideshare and doing whatever it takes to make a quick buck or two. Even if that meant it was $10 for the day, less than minimum wage. I was making money, doing what I needed to do to get myself off of the streets. So what I'm saying is, you know, Don't listen to the outsiders who have placed you in a box because they feel like you are so disabled that you will never succeed past public assistance. Okay? That is fucking bullshit. And it's a fucking stereotype. And I'm just like, I'm disgusted that some of these people have even been on government assistance themselves in the 90s and early 2000s. They are now at executive positions in HR and other fucking doctoral positions, but they want to place somebody in a box after they've made success stories from going from government assistance and public housing in the 90s and early 2000s to having a multi-million-dollar house with renovations and all types of stuff, not even having fucking a mortgage to pay on. And you mean to tell me that I have to be on government assistance for the rest of my life? Something is wrong with that statement. So, going back to the conversation of me being a rideshare driver, I want to put a caution on anybody that is thinking that rideshare is going to make you a multimillionaire within a couple of months, because I lost so much opportunity dropping everything that I ever worked for rideshare. When I did not have my vehicle when I first moved to Oklahoma in 2021, and I was taking the bus every day, I was riding the bus. And then eventually, when I started accruing paychecks, I started taking rideshare to work and to and from work, back to the sobriety house. And I talked to a lot of rideshare drivers who talked so highly of rideshare at that time, and they told me they were making $3K a week on rideshare, and that it was the best decision they ever made, leaving their regular 9-to-5 office job for rideshare. Now, I don't know what they're doing, the equation that they're doing on rideshare to be able to make $3K a week, while I made $5 to $10 a day on rideshare. Not only that, I was putting all of that money in gas, and I had to turn around and pay for showers, and I had to turn around and buy groceries and fast food so that I can eat. How is it that so many people would recommend rideshare as a regular supplemental income job as your own boss, and you make less than minimum wage doing it? That fucked me up so bad, and I am so thankful that I have had the time to take a break from rideshare, because it was getting me into trouble financially. Okay? It takes more than $100 a day for gas money to successfully do rideshare the way that you're supposed to do it. Not only that, but car detailings and cleaning out your vehicle to do rideshare, that costs more than $70, $80 every other day. And they're paying less than minimum. They're paying their drivers and their delivery drivers and everything like that less than minimum wage for their job. The last straw with rideshare was the fact that I did a couple of orders and a couple of drop-offs, and they took $50 to $60 from me and claimed that they gave me the money, and they did not give me that money. I made $15 off of one order that day, $15, and I was owed $40 to $50 more from other deliveries. Okay, and I talked to them through chats, and I showed them screenshots of me not getting the money in my account, and they demanded me. They didn't demand me, but they did not listen effectively, and instead of listening and investigating further, they actually, shut the conversation down immediately and just told me that it had been processed in my account, when that's not the case. So they're stealing money from me. Therefore, I can't get gas money to get to work. Therefore, I can't buy groceries, and I don't even qualify for food stamps. Therefore, I can't buy work clothes. I can't get my hair done. I can't get my hair cut. I can't buy hygiene. Like, what is going on with rideshare? And I am seeing so many companies and so many investors and so many states pull out from rideshare opportunities that some other cities and other states are actually stopping the opportunity for rideshare drivers to be in that city and in that state. So I'm so frustrated that I actually listened to one of my drivers during the pandemic talk about how they were making $4,000, $5,000 a week on rideshare, and now I see that they were jumping. If they weren't using one app. That's what they kept from me. They were using other apps to make $4,000, $5,000 a week. They were not using one app. And then when you try to use the other apps, there are long wait lists. I've been on wait lists for some of those things for years, and I've never received an email saying, hey, we need to move forward with your application. So what am I supposed to do? I can't believe I dropped some of my jobs for rideshare. Never again. Never again. Even when I'm in a Tesla as a verified account, I will never do rideshare again. I will get a regular second job if I need to make ends meet. But at this point in time in my life with the job that I just got hired for, I don't need another second job because the pay is that good and the environment is that good and the teamwork, the family environment is that well spoken for, that I'm set. I'm set and I want to retire with that company. So, it's just amazing to see how far I've come as a disabled individual. You know, I can remember being in government, and I'm not going to talk smack on my old coworkers, my old bosses, but, you know, it really hurt me in the pandemic, in the beginning stages of the pandemic, when I worked at the government office, and I asked my boss if I can do work from home, and they drug their feet for months and months and months while I was having multiple flare-ups with my disabilities, including my back. I literally crawled on my hands and knees to the parking garage, to my car, on my hands and knees because my back hurt that fucking badly. I was injured that badly. I started having carpal tunnel. I started having arthritis. It was very bad. I started getting sick, throwing up blood in the parking lot, having blood in my stool, having polyps in my stool. It got really bad, and I was very sick during that time, and work from home would have been so amazing. And during the beginning stages of the pandemic, I feel like I would have been a beast working from home for the government office. And it's just, it wasn't meant to be, I guess. It wasn't meant to be, but it's just crazy to me that a call center would pay more with better benefits than a government job. Like, why? Why is a government job dragging their feet on paying their employees very well after years of having experience and years of being with the organization and years of showing that they are a loyal employee who will do whatever it takes to be a successful team member, who will jump through hoops to make sure that the department is successful and reaching goals and doing everything that, you know, playing by the books and doing what it takes to be successful on the team. So we tried the work from home stuff, and I was working at a cafe, and the internet kept going out on the server. I wasn't able to successfully work from home at the cafe. They weren't allowing me to work at my home on the computer in a work from home setting. And I'm like, fast forward years later, I've had like 5 work from home jobs from different companies, and I always prove myself to the company that I'm a very trustworthy person while working from home. And I feel like, you know, instead of placing stipulations and limitations on certain employees who might have an FMLA or who might have a disability, you know, character speaks volumes. Character always speaks volumes. And I don't think it was anything personal that might have made me feel indifferent at the time as far as why I had to stay in the office and bust my ass, while all the other people in my department got to go work from home and never come in the office. I was very hurt during that time. I got COVID. I still, after I got better, I still had to bust my ass in the office, and I got burnt out really fast. So, you know, I feel like it wasn't meant to be at the time, for me to be with the organization, because things changed very quickly. There were things that were going on behind the scenes that I felt like was not acceptable for an organization of that type of security, if you will. And so I just feel like, if anybody out there who has bipolar, ADHD, ASD, and you're at a job that you feel like you are placed in a box where you don't have the same opportunity as other people on your team, then look at other jobs. Look at other jobs. Look at other pay. I went from making $14 an hour to damn near $20 an hour within 3 years. 3 years. I went from making $14 an hour with no other type of differential pay. Of course, that was accounting, so it's a little bit different than a call center. But I went from making $14 an hour to $20 an hour plus commission in just a span of 3 years. No college degree, no extra training, just the skill set that I have obtained throughout the years in business clubs and entrepreneurial settings. I did have training on the job when I started my first call center, and it was just like being a receptionist at a doctor's office, except for you have to answer phone calls every other 3 minutes on the dot. So if you've ever worked in a medical setting, you know that the phones are always ringing off the hook. And I feel like if you are interested in being in a call center setting, but you have yet to receive a call back and you might be in a medical setting, practice your timing on the phones at the receptionist desk. Okay? Because when I worked at a spa plastic surgery center, as a receptionist, I was on it. Ring, 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 ring. Hi, this is Courtney. Thank you for calling. How may I help you? Ring, ring, ring. Yes, I can verify your insurance. Give me 1 moment, please. You know what I mean? Like, timing your calls is everything. And especially in a call center setting where you have to follow metrics and you have to do everything it takes to make sure the customers are properly handled, that their questions are answered properly, and you're not taking hours and hours and hours trying to get their calls situated, then I think, practice makes perfect. Even when you're home and you're in front of your family, you're in front of your spouse, you're in front of your kids, you're in front of your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles. Have them practice with you. That's what I did when I was in DECA, Business Professionals of America, and Youth Entrepreneurs. I practiced before I had nationals. I practiced before I was in competitions. I practiced before my mock interviews. And I pitched my spiel. And that's how I got better at customer service. And that's how I got better at work ethics and grit and, being the squeaky wheel, So that's what it takes to be successful in a call center environment. You have to be you have to play things by the books. You have to make sure that you are an ethical person. You have to make sure that you are going to treat people with respect and kindness, and overall your integrity is there. And, I can't believe that years ago, before I started working at a call center, I was told by my former best friend that I would never be good at a call center setting. And I believe till this day, she genuinely thinks that I'm in a call center because she worked in a call center. And that is not the case. I've had various family members who have passed away throughout the years who have worked in a call center when I was 16 years old. And they always told me, Courtney, I think you should work at this call center. So it's not about my former best friend who works at a call center. It's about the fact that I've watched my family members go through call centers. I've watched my mom's ex-boyfriend go through call centers. I have watched so many people around me go through call centers. And I feel like I was right to say that I would be good at that job. Do not place me in a box because you're jealous and you think I want your job and you think I'm coming for your title and you think that I'm competing with you, because that's not the case. Speaking of not competing with people, there are a lot of people that I had said, there are segments of videos that I put out there on YouTube and on Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels last night, that I felt like I had a right to talk about. You know what I mean? It's like when you make it out of your hometown, the people who are still stuck in that hometown mentality, who only goes to the 2 bars in town, and who only goes to the 2 clubs in town, and who only smokes weed all around town, and that's all they do, and they see you verified, and they see you make it out that box, and they see you succeed. You know, they're running my name through the mud in my hometown, and I am tired of it. I am tired of it. I don't have not one group chat message, not one Snapchat message, not one Twitter thread, not one DM message that I'm talking shit about them about. And it's funny how, you know, they want to play victim and say, oh, Courtney did XYZ to get famous. Courtney did XYZ to get a verified account. Courtney sold her soul. Courtney's satanic. Courtney got married for a verified account. Her husband is the reason why she's verified. And those are all false claims. Those are all false claims. I'm very happy with things that are coming up and going into play next month. I'm actually having a new journey at another student housing complex. And some of you might say that's not Rich Auntie. Courtney, I don't know why you said you're in a Rich Auntie environment. But to me, it's Rich Auntie. To me, I had a luxurious apartment through student housing, paying less than an actual 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom luxurious apartment during the pandemic within my budget range. And that's how I got the environment I wanted on a budget. You might say, Courtney, you are 3 years away from being 30. My birthday's actually in 2 weeks on the 23rd. I turned 27. You know, I'm probably going to be the only person in the house who is 27 years old. A lot of the times when I've been in student housing, I have found that there are people who are like 20 years old, 18 years old, 19 years old living in student housing. And I wish that I had that opportunity to be in student housing when I was in college for the first time. You know, I wish there was luxurious student housing complexes or even student housing in general other than college dorms in my hometown. But there's not. There's nothing like that in my hometown or even near my hometown. So I had to wait until after I moved out of the state to experience the opportunity to be in student housing on a budget, having a luxurious kind of feel for it before I actually get the luxurious 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment downtown. And I think it's a great opportunity for people, whether you're 30 or 18 or 19, as long as you're a student. And the gag is, some of these student housing complexes do not require you to be a student to be there. I know that sounds counteractive, as far as why would you allow a non-student to live at your student housing complex, but it gives you opportunity to have a well taken care of environment. You have your own bedroom, your own bathroom, furnished apartment for less than what it takes to have a luxurious apartment or a luxurious townhome at $1,500 a month. It's less than $1,500 a month for student housing. And and I feel like if that's not rich auntie on a budget, then what is? These student housing apartments have stainless steel appliances, wood floors, well taken care of environments, washer and dryer in units, pets are allowed, cabanas at the pool, grills outside. You know, like, it's very inclusive, and that's the type of environment I want to be in after having so much bullshit in the sobriety and transitional community. So that's my new journey. You know, no, it's not my own fully furnished place, but I'm the only person with my name on the lease. My mom's not on the lease. I don't have a guarantor. I am the only person on my part of the lease. So that is a huge accomplishment, and I'm very thankful for the woman who gave me the opportunity to sublease. You know, that is another workaround way to getting into some of these student housing complexes, looking at a sublease, combing through the deal, or combing through the lease, combing through the contract to make sure that it's within your budget range, and making sure that you're not getting stuck into something you don't want to get into. But I've already been through student housing. I think it's a great opportunity, especially with me working from home in a couple of months. You know, I'll have the environment to be able to work from home successfully. I can go into the office as I need to, and I'm not stuck in my own apartment withering away with my husband. You know, there are a lot of things that you don't know about me and my husband, and I'm not ready to talk about it in a public setting yet. But just know, just because me and my husband aren't publicly talking about our marriage does not mean that we're not happy, does not mean that we aren't working on things, does not mean that he's doing me dirty just because I'm in another student housing opportunity. I mean, I am just stating that there are things you just don't know about the situation, and it's cool. You guys can conspire things all day long if you want to. You guys can say that I'm a lonely wife. You guys can say that he's cheating. You guys can say that I'm not really married. I don't care. Because you don't speak for my marriage. You don't speak for me. You don't speak for the things I've been through. And some of you guys are really abusive, and I'm tired of the abusiveness. You don't speak for me. Ever. You always have an opinion on something. You always tell me I'm in a box and I need to never be married and I need to never have kids. I need to never be successful. And I'm like, that's crazy, because I supported you through your divorce. I supported you when you were getting your ass beat by your fucking baby daddy. I supported you when you were heartbroken, drinking at the bars every day, trying to find your next guy, trying to find your next girlfriend, trying to find your next wife. And you're just gonna diss me behind the scenes and gaslight me and tell me that these things never happened for me. It's abuse. So I am very glad that I have not listened and cowered at my abusers, and I have done what it takes to be successful, and I have done what it takes to get off the streets, and I have done what it takes to stop using transitional sobriety housing as a crutch. I'm very happy that I have an independent housing opportunity and next month that I will be able to transition into. That is the definition of transitional housing. You're not supposed to be on transitional housing or sobriety housing for the rest of your life. You are supposed to transition into a newly healthy environment after your addiction, after your homelessness, after the abuse. You are supposed to transition. It doesn't matter if it takes 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, a month, or 7 months. That is your own timeline, and it's nobody else's business to tell you, Courtney, you have to, or whatever your name is, you have to stay in the program for 2 years before you get independent housing. That's a load of crap. Especially if they're not pocketing out money ever for your rent. Especially when they're not pocketing out money for the hospital bills piling up, the debts piling up, the taxes that are due at the end of the year. You mean to tell me that I have to stay in transitional housing for 2 years while my bills pile up, and all you are doing is making my life a living hell by prancing around in luxurious cars and luxurious houses and luxurious trips out of the country, and now I have to watch you do that while my bills are piling up, and you mean to tell me I have to be on Section 8 for the rest of my life? I'm a go-getter. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businesswoman. Fuck Section 8. Don't put me in a box. I'm more than that, and so are you. So, I know there's a lot of questions and a lot of assumptionness as far as, Courtney, this is a community page. You keep saying it's a community page. Why are you only posting personal things about yourself on the community page? And all I'm saying is, from experience, from previous experience, when other people want to be showcased on a verified account or even a business account, there are contracts that you have to comb through. Each person has to comb through a contract. Each person has to come through an agreement, a signed agreement. Each person has to go through an agreement as far as whether it's going to be a free promoted posting, a free ad, a free picture, or if it's going to be a paid promotion, a paid post, a paid appearance on the page, or if it's going to be free. You have to also factor in whether you're going to speak to lawyers or, it's a dirty game sometimes. I have talked to people during the pandemic who I showcased on my previous verified account who sued me and said that they never had an agreement for me to post them on the verified page. They were talking about suing me for posting the content that we agreed to do together as a project. So I have previous horrible experiences with partnering with certain people to talk about bipolar, to talk about ADHD, to talk about ASD. Because when the content is out there, their face is out there, their name is out there, or it's anonymous, people find out things very easily about them, and their jobs are jeopardized, that they feel like I am the problem because they got fired. But I'm a testament of speaking about my disabilities and being a community resource and having a good job and not being placed in a box and not having my job threatened to be terminated because I spoke up about stuff. It depends on the company. It depends on their perspective. It depends on your work ethic and your ability to handle both the social media aspect and your full-time job outside of social media. But I don't want anybody to point the finger at me. Like, if I showcase you on the podcast and I have you as a guest on the podcast and you get fired a second after we post the episode or a year after we post the episode, and then you want to turn around and sue me because you got terminated and you think that I should be shut down because you got terminated from your job. That's the type of stuff that you have to deal with when you're dealing with partnerships and guests on a fucking business account, a business page. You have to take that into consideration. So that's really why I have not showcased guests on the podcast or on the page, is because I'm trying to weigh my options as a business owner and entrepreneur. I don't want to get sued. Just put it that way. I don't want to get sued. I don't want to be the reason why somebody has a stigma placed on their life. I'm only speaking on my experiences to help others in the community. I'm not afraid of getting terminated. I've been wrongfully terminated previously by various organizations and various companies. I'm not afraid of termination. I'm a verified account. If anything, I have proved time and time again that I'm a breadwinner, that I'm an entrepreneur, that I can make it. Whether I get terminated or not, I can turn around that same month and get another job. That quick. So I just think it's a lot of outweighing options. It's a lot of weighing the options as far as having people be an appearance on your verified page. Yes, I have posted deceased family members. Yes, I have posted friends from my hometown or from other places. Those are good memories for me, and I don't want them to think I'm a sellout and that I have forgotten them. If they contact me today and it's like, Courtney, I don't want to be associated with your business page. Courtney, why did you post me on a public page? You know, I had them posted on my private page before I got verified. The TheBipolaeBae page was actually a private page when I first created it. For me to have a creative outlet as a bipolar individual, as an ADHD individual, as an ASD individual. Then I made it public. And it had nothing to do with any information coming in that if I made it public, I would be verified. I made it public just for expression, whether I was going to get likes or not. I made it public. I took a risk and made it public after months of struggling with other people in my ear about having a public page. I made it public, and I started rolling out episodes and merch mock-ups and other content. And I blew up overnight as a creator, as a content creator. So if they contact me today and was like, hey, you know, no hard feelings, but I would rather not be posted on a public page that's verified. Absolutely, I understand that. Those are good memories for me. I hold them dear to my heart. Those are really good memories for me. And I want to showcase my private life to show other people who feel so crippled by their disabilities that they will never succeed, that you can succeed. You can do the work. You can be verified. You can be an entrepreneur. You can get the $20 an hour job with commission plus differential pay and work from home opportunities. You can be an entrepreneur. You can overcome the stipulations that other people have set on your life. You can do it. Don't listen to the other people who are not willing to support you fully to the extent that you need to be supported to have your needs met if you're homeless. They love the idea of you being homeless. They love the idea of you being on Section 8. They love the idea of you being on public assistance for the rest of your life because of your disabilities. But the government is saying it's not supposed to work out like that. You are supposed to use it at times during stages of your life when you desperately need it. But that doesn't always mean, I'm not speaking for people who are fully disabled 24/7. Technically, that's me. I don't have a curable disability, as neither do you. But it's the principle The government office does not want you to be on government assistance for the rest of your life. That's taking away an opportunity from somebody else who needs it. So we can go in circles and, oh, Courtney, you're delusional. You're going to ruin your life for not being on government assistance. That's fine. But I have proven myself that with the right mindset, you can achieve anything, including having other opportunities on the table while being disabled. I have so much more information and topics that I want to talk about within the next couple of weeks on this podcast. And it's exciting to see the growth of this podcast. And I'm excited to showcase a lot of different topics, a lot of different views, point of views, a lot of different things, so that I can encourage the community and be a beacon of light in the community for others who feel like they will never make it past homelessness, who will never make it past addiction, who will never make it past Section 8, who will never make it past public assistance, who will never make it past disability, who will never make it past the government assistance. And the stereotypes of what it feels like to have a disability. And the stereotypes that other people place on disabled individuals. I'm excited to be the encouraging person that you should have in your life on a professional level, on a personal level, so that you have encouragement of being who you are called to be. I don't want you to feel like you have to commit suicide because nobody else is listening to you. I've been there. I've talked about my goals and my dreams and my entrepreneurship ideas for years, and I get told by my support system, Courtney, you're manic, you're out of your mind, you will never be successful, you have to get back on your meds, you have to stay on your meds, you are losing your mind for talking about these things. And that is not true. But I'm going to get out of the studio. I have a lot of things to do today. I wish I could talk more on this episode. But I just have a lot of things to do on my to-do list. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please keep an eye out for other episodes. And I hope you guys see what I'm trying to do with this business. It's not about being a poster child for ADHD, ASD, and bipolar. I'm not the only person with those disabilities. And I acknowledge that. I just want to be encouraging to other people who are constantly suicidal, constantly torn down by their family members, constantly torn down by their friends, constantly torn down by social media bullies, and just to tell you that you can do whatever it takes, that you can do what the things that you are thinking about behind the scenes, about starting your own business, about being an entrepreneur, as someone who is disabled, you very much can do those things. Do not let them limit you. Do not let them place you in a box, labeled whatever they decide to label you as. You are more than that. You can overcome those things. Peace.